It's that in itself, to me, it kind of puts you in a situation that's a general statement. Because I'm proud of a lot of things of the Iranian culture, but I'm also ashamed of some of the things, you know. And the same thing with American, you know. It's like you have not ashamed, but not into it, I should say. Not ashamed. I just don't agree with some of the things. So I wouldn't use the word proud as much as I would use the word of, you know, every culture has good and bad. And the unfortunate thing is, where we live in right now in the West, all we see, not all, but most of what we see are the negatives. And it's been so, it started when a lot of us came. I came around the time of the revolution, and then the hostage situation happened. And it's been so ingrained in some people's minds that it's hard to change that. So one thing that I did early on, because the world that I was in was about like perception. People come into Hollywood and they change their names. They don't say where they're from, because a lot of times you get typecast if they find out, oh, you're this, we're only going to give you these parts. And so I remember I had a meeting with some agent who was like, you should change your name, you know, it'll be easier to get cast. And I was like, well, people don't even know what Jobrani is anyway, and Maz they don't know. It's not like Muhammad Hassani or Hossein, you know what I'm saying? No offense to the Muhammads here, but you know. But even then, my advice has been, look, ultimately you got to be comfortable with you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So if you go somewhere and you feel like, oh, I've just lied about who I am, or you know, talk poorly about something that I cherish, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, the culture that we have, for example, that we have, you know, that we've learned through our parents or grandparents, and this rich culture, for you to like go somewhere, and if someone's in a meeting, let's say, and there's a big deal at the table, you know, like you guys are making a deal for $1 million or whatever, I'm sorry, $1 billion, and you're at the table, and this guy maybe says like, you know, I gotta tell you something, I'm happy you're Italian, because I do not respect them goddamn Iranians. Now you have a decision to make. You go, do I just shut up and go, ciao, bello, perfetto, and take the $1 billion and walk out, or do I sit there and go, by the way, I'm Iranian, you know, I don't really, you know. So I personally feel like, you know, I think you take this latter. I think you tell the guy, hey, you know, but you don't have to be confrontational, but it's like, listen, what you've thought of Iranians all along is not what it is. I mean, and most of us, we know, most of the people that I interact with are good people for the most part, you know. That's why a lot of times I talk about like the depiction of Iranians or Middle Easterners as terrorists. That's a minority of that world, and yet that's a majority of what you see of us on screen. Even this movie Argo that just came out, which I haven't seen, but I read the script, and I heard it's a great movie. But the problem was, when the time came to audition for the parts, all the parts of the Iranian men were negative parts, and there was only one part in there of this guy who is giving a tour to the Americans at a bazaar, and he thinks that they're Canadians there to make a movie, and he says, oh, you're making a movie, you know, is it about love or whatever? Like he seems like a nice enough guy, and in the middle of his tour, the bazaris all go crazy and they start yelling at this guy. So it's like, even the one scene where you could do this, you know, show us in a good light, you have all these people going crazy, you know. As a matter of fact, it's funny you bring this up, because this is actually, we just did this. There's a movie I've written called Jimmy Westwood, American Hero. It's basically like a Persian Pink Panther. It's a bumbling idiot who is a lovable guy who ends up saving the day. And at the beginning, he's obsessed. His name is Jamshid. He's changed it to Jimmy. And he's obsessed with being American, because he was a big fan of Steve McQueen's when he was a kid. And he wants to be an American hero, but now he lives in Westwood, and he's got a thick Persian accent, and America doesn't see him the way he wants to be seen. And in the movie, he ends up in a crime, kind of a Hitchcockian kind of crime, like a crime thing, and he ends up solving it, and he becomes a hero, and he realizes that his Iranianness helps him in solving the problem. And the tagline for the movie is, you don't have to be American to be an American hero, right? And this is what's happened, actually. As a matter of fact, we wrote the movie, and then we went to, you know, do it, and, you know, we talked to a few production companies here and there, and for the most part, we got the feeling that if an American production company were to do this, they would buy it, get the rights, and either sit on it or change it completely and be like, we like the story, we don't like the hero being Iranian, so let's make it, you know, Mexican or something, right? So that's what we got the feeling of, like after a couple of meetings. Then we had a couple of private investors that were within the community who said, hey, I'm worth $500 million and I've wanted to get into movies, let's do it. And you sit down with some of these people and they don't know the value of the media. Like the fact that he's Iranian and he's at Facebook is a big deal because his name being out there, the more it's out there, the more people go, oh, are you Indian? What are you? You know, and you get more and more of that. Media is huge. And so we ran into another issue where people within our own community did not understand, the older people didn't understand the power of media. So we actually have just launched a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo where we're going to raise the funds ourselves and make this movie Jimmy Westwood the way we think it needs to be made. And our goal is to have the first hero of Middle Eastern descent in an American movie. I mean, they had Prince of Persia, but it was, thank you. Thank you. So vote for Maz Jobrani for mayor. No, but my point is like, you know, what I said is my advice to you, all you guys, is to be proud of who you are. And if you keep running into walls, find a way. Crowdfunding is an amazing thing. We just launched it this weekend. And it's an amazing thing to watch that, you know, I saw other movies of Iranian-made filmmakers. There's one that came out called The Iran Job about an American black guy who goes to Iran. It's a documentary to play basketball. These guys, it's a great movie and it's a positive message. It humanizes our relationship between Iran and America. And these guys were able to raise through crowdfunding like over 100 grand, which is great. That power tells these people that we have to face that maybe make you think like you need to sacrifice who you are. It tells these people, no, there's power in our community. So, you know, respect us. So that's my advice to you guys.